She has taught countless Northland students since she began in 1988. She teaches what she loves: art and a deep appreciation for the humanities. As an artist, she captures a sense of place, and her paintings of natural phenomena grace our canvas. They bring all students closer to the birch trees, the Lake Superior stones, and all of the beauty and wonder which define the Northlands. In addition to our campus, her paintings have been exhibited in exhibitions in New York, New England, Cuba, Italy, Germany, and Japan, and hanging collections throughout the world. It is my great pleasure to welcome Ruth.
Thank you very much. I am so pleased to be here on such a wonderful day with wonderful music, and even Mother Nature cooperated for us. The reading for today is from a poem by the beloved poet Mary Oliver. How would you live then? What if 100 rose-breasted grosbeaks flew in circles around your head? What if the mockingbird came into the house with you and became your advisor? What if the bees filled your walls with honey, and all you needed to do was ask them and they'd fill the bowl? What if the brook slid downhill just past your bedroom windows so that you could listen to its slow prayers as you fell asleep? What if the stars began to shout their names and run this way and that way above the clouds? What if you painted a picture of a tree and leaves began to rustle and a bird cheerfully sang from its painted branches? What if you suddenly saw that the silver of water was brighter than the silver of money? What if you finally saw that the sunflowers turning toward the sun all day and every day, who knows how, but they do it, were more precious, more meaningful than gold? How would you live then? Rest assured on this very special day that the takeaway from this poem I just read is not to subject you to a lecture on the virtues of poverty over money as a meaningful measure of your success in the future. Rather, this poem speaks to you about what you value. It's best summed up, in fact, by a fine line from another of her oft-quoted poems called A Summer Day, when she asks us the question, tell me, what is it that you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? The title of my little address is What We Share. I chose this title before I really knew where I was going with this. And given the rather vast generational gap between us, I should perhaps clarify my use of the word share in this title. For me, what we share isn't about social sharing, likes, emojis, snaps, pics, whatever. Actually, I predate the internet. I started when it began on MySpace and sparingly transitioned over to Facebook. And the staff will tell you today that I still haven't really joined the Instagram cult. By the time I actually get there, it'll be so yesterday. And please also know I don't mean share in the sense of the collection plate or the Alumni Association letters regarding annual giving. Although my loyalty to this particularly wonderful institution would tempt me on occasion to put in a real plug for that one. That's one sharing I certainly applaud. It's sort of like the networking, or we're turning back to keep that staircase that you just climbed nice and solid for your younger collegiate brothers and sisters who will be climbing up after you. But actually speaking to you today, when I use that word, what we share, as a meaning, I mean it more as what do we, you and I, have in common? What do we share, for example, with that well-loved, wonderful poet, wonder-filled, I might add, Mary Oliver? Well, for one thing, she shares with us an abiding interest in our natural environment. You are about to receive a higher education degree from a liberal arts college known for its environmental focus. So like this poet, most of us probably share to some degree or other her spiritual reverence for our natural environment. What I particularly identify with in Mary Oliver's work is her choice of language to communicate her thoughts and ideas. Some critics have accused her of being a little too easy, but to quote my favorite magazine, The New Yorker, in an article that was titled, "What Mary Oliver's Critics Don't Understand," the writer and critic Ruth says this about her. Mary Oliver isn't a difficult poet. Her work is incredibly accessible. And I think that's what makes her so beloved by so many people. It doesn't feel like you have to take a seminar in order to understand Mary Oliver's poetry. She's speaking directly to you as a human being. As many of you may know, Mary Oliver left this world this year just as our semester began in January. She died as we were beginning this last term here at this college. Her obituary in some of the literary quarters was either very brief or even a tad bit snobbish in its rather negative use of that word, popular. Like it's a crime. Popular? Yes, indeed. Books of her poetry can be found on a chapel bench, in a yoga studio, or in a backpack of a hiker in a wooden trail. And like the work of Sigurd Olsen, her writings can be found on the shelves of so many of us, those who share her sensibility to the natural world around us. And I think that's a very worthy audience. I cringe at the assumption that reaching out to a broad audience is anti-intellectual. I, of course, deal in painted images, not words. But like Mary Oliver, I don't create my images to be analyzed. I appreciate the provocative in art, but I seek to evoke, not provoke. And most importantly, I seek to share with a visual audience this natural world I've grown to love. And just as an aside, after serving 12 years on the Wisconsin Arts Board as a board member, chairing countless grant-giving panels, the most frequent phrase I would hear as they got to the last round of gifting of grants was, "Oh, we have to choose that one. It's so edgy." Well, I have a very strong intellectual respect for the cutting edge of innovative cultural expression. I don't want you to think I don't. But it doesn't bother me in my own studio thinking about it. It doesn't bother me the tiniest bit that my own work will never be included in a Whitney Biennial in Manhattan. I've grown to I've grown to know to whom my visual vocabulary is speaking. A rather broad range of real people, and I prefer that conversation, frankly. And to you, grads, what do you and I share in common? Well, we both share a similar educational background. That is, I, like you, did my undergraduate work, my undergraduate degree at a liberal arts college, and I've always been grateful for it. The exposure to the broader range of coursework, some of it outside your comfort zone, may come to serve you in ways you least expected in your future career and in your social life. In fact, may have ended up majoring in a field that was different from what you started out with. I feel fortunate to have been teaching here in this liberal arts college to students with a variety of fields of interest and a variety of experiences, certainly better than a sort of a cocoon of people all with the same brain wiring, speaking the same rarefied lingo of their particular specialty. I've learned so much from all of you over the years. Your questions or challenges in the classroom have kept me from becoming intellectually lazy, or even worse, set in my ways. Now, some of you may have actually come here for reasons other than a love of the natural environment. But if so, you probably still found yourself outside that climate-controlled classroom quite a bit more than the average college student. And you acquired the skill sets to survive it, which, by the way, I have to congratulate you for, especially in this rather bizarre winter-spring offerings by Mother Nature. And for any of you students who may have suffered a bit of culture shock when you first arrived on the campus 4 years ago, you and I share something else in common. When I came to this college 32 years ago from New York, the shock to my sense of place was pretty radical. Living on a coast, Pacific, Atlantic, whichever, I could be comfortable. It's very multicultural. However, where it comes to nature, where I lived in such an urban setting, was found mostly in city parks, the Bronx Zoo, the produce aisle of the local supermarket. If I wanted to paint a pineapple, it was already on the shelf. When we were called here for an interview, my husband and I, knowing that I might be in for a serious lifestyle change, I grabbed my Rand McNally atlas. Google Maps hadn't been invented yet. Northland College in Wisconsin, smack in the middle. I needed to see how far Ashland was from civilization and fresh sea air, and running my hand up from Chicago, Madison, Milwaukee. Oh, thank goodness, a major body of water. And no salt, and no sharks. I didn't know that. I found that it was a lot different, of course, for my husband. Minnesota boy that he was, Bob could more easily fit in. He came ready to relaunch that Boundary Waters canoe he talked about so much. But I wasn't quite ready to spend my weekend sitting in the bow of a boat with an instructional husband behind me, telling me on which side to place my oar. I needed some solo craft. And this liberal arts, the smartest thing I did when I got to this campus, even before I started teaching that first year, I became like a virtual freshman. And I signed up for some courses taught by my colleagues to gain exposure to subjects that I had absolutely no experience in. This liberal arts had courses in kayaking, which was newer then, snowshoeing, and wildlife tracking. I took them all, solo skills that got me where I needed to be, out there, outdoors, and in my new and wild environment in the Schwamigan forest, it was life-changing. As a result, I will always regard myself, like you, as an honorary alum of this institution. Lastly, I venture to say that there may be some of you who can point to that same kind of shared experiences, those same awakenings, whether it was in your classrooms, or labs, or on field trips, or on the athletic fields. in new friendships you may have made, or new relationships. Many gained perhaps by an exposure to that broader coursework outside your comfort level. That's the hallmark of a liberal arts college that you attended, and especially this one, which, like Superior, is both broad and deep. Lastly, and my soon-to-be fellow alums, you and I both share a major life transition. I retire from teaching this year. I will always cherish not only what I've gained from those knowledgeable and experienced colleagues over the many years, but also what you, the students in this institution, have given to me. You kept my brain cells moving and evolving with your fresh points of view, your questions that kept me on my toes, constantly researching, rethinking and fact-checking myself for the most current information. I mean it. You may have turned my hair white, but sharing with you has kept me young, at least a bit younger than the generation I was born into, which didn't even make the list this year of the generations. Thank you so much for that. I will continue to find creativity in my art studio, and you, my fellow students, will step out into the world where you can now freely share your own ideas, your own skills, your knowledge, and your opinions. You will be doing the grading. And hopefully some of you will grow to become leaders and agents of change that our world so badly needs. I end here, but I also would like to bring you a salute from my husband, Bob Parsonage. Some of you may have gotten parsonage grants over the 4 years you were here, and he would have loved to have been here to meet you today. But as you may have heard, he suffered a stroke a couple of weeks ago, another stroke, in the Twin Cities. And he's now out of the hospital and hard at work in a transitional care unit there, rebuilding himself physically in anticipation of returning to the North Country, to our lake home on Lake Nemacolin. He sends blessings to you students in all your future endeavors. And like all the rest of us here today, we will enjoy meeting up with you occasionally in future alumni events. We hope to follow you as you share with us your news, those of us who are left behind. We want to share the news of your achievements, your life events, your transitions in those college publications. So please,